Today I want to talk to you about vaccines or vaccinations. It's probably something that most of you have had when you were a baby. It's where you get an injection that can stop you from being able to get ill. At the moment, scientists are working really hard to try and come up with a vaccination for coronavirus so that we can make sure that people that will get quite ill from the virus can have the vaccination and then it won't make them ill. So, how do vaccines work? Well, if you've already watched our video about antibodies, you'll know what our body does if we get infected with a virus. Here's just a little reminder for you. Inside our body, we have really cool things called white blood cells, and they are like the army of our body, fighting off anything that isn't supposed to be there. The way that they do that is they make things called antibodies. Our antibodies are going to look a little bit like this, but really they don't have eyes, and they're much smaller. Antibodies can destroy viruses and bacteria, but they need to change to be able to do that. So an antibody that can fight off chickenpox won't be able to fight off a cold, and an antibody that can fight off a cold won't be able to fight off coronavirus. So what happens when we get infected? Let's pretend there's a new virus around called the super square virus. Here it is here. This is my brand new virus. This is going to come into my body, and my white blood cells are going to make antibodies to be able to fight it off. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut a square. Now they don't really use scissors, they're much cleverer than I am. They're able to change their antibodies all by themselves. So our white blood cells have made this antibody. It takes a few days, and during those few days my body might have felt a little bit ill. There might have been some coughing, maybe I might have felt a little bit tired. That was all while my antibodies were being created. So now the antibodies have been made, they can destroy the virus and it can all disappear. The antibodies mostly go away and the virus completely goes away. One or two of these antibodies will stay in the body, and that means that if the virus comes around again, like this, my antibody is already there, so it can destroy it straight away. So fast that I won't even get ill, and I probably won't even know that this super square virus has even been inside my body. So that leads us to vaccinations. Vaccinations are either a small amount of the virus or bacteria, or they're a dead version of the virus. So they're a virus that the body thinks it's the virus, but it can't actually hurt us. Sometimes when you have a vaccine, you might feel a little bit ill, but nowhere near as ill as you would do if you had the actual virus. So a vaccination is where the doctors, they put a dead version or a really small amount of the virus into your body, and what your body doesn't know is it doesn't know that it's not real. It thinks it's the real thing. So even though it's not making you ill, your white blood cells still make the antibody. So they do just like before. They think it's real, so they change their antibodies, like this, to fight off the pretend version of the super square virus. Just like that. So your body thinks it's creating the antibody for a good reason. It thinks it needs to fight it off. It doesn't really, but the good thing is that now you've got that antibody. So if the real version comes along, you can fight it off so fast you won't even know you've got ill. And that's why scientists want to make a vaccine for coronavirus. What it means is we'd be able to give people a pretend version of coronavirus. It wouldn't make people ill, or it might make them feel a little bit ill, but it wouldn't be as bad as the real coronavirus, and they wouldn't need doctors and nurses to help them out. We could give that vaccine to some of those older people, or those people that we think might be a little bit more ill from coronavirus than most of us, and then if they get infected, they'll already have the antibody to be able to fight off the coronavirus, because their body learnt how to fight off the pretend version. Now that's what scientists are working on. They think it might take quite a long time to get there. So in the meantime, there's lots of other things that we're doing, like washing our hands and staying 2 meters away from everybody to try and make sure the coronavirus doesn't spread too quickly.